You've had quite a journey, haven't you? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, obviously one of the reasons we're chatting is that I've got stage 4 bowel cancer, so advanced bowel cancer, but getting to it was quite interesting. I was a career professional, experienced marketeer, worked all over the world and in really high profile and high pressure jobs. I'd say about 12 years ago or so, I had a redundancy opportunity and set up as a consultant and started then to get a balance to my life, more of a work-life balance. I was only working about 4 days a week, reduced the hours, and part of that, I started to get fitter, started focusing more on fitness regime, originally running, and I got to a reasonable level of competing, and then got into yoga. All of that led to me being a relatively fit and healthy person in the late 40s. And gradually I started to notice that I was going to the toilet more. Nothing more sinister than that. I was ultimately, at the time when I was diagnosed, I was going about 12 times a day. But it was small amounts and it was urgent. But there was no pain, no discomfort up until a couple of weeks before I was diagnosed. And so at that point I started to think, I better go to the doctor. And I'd self-diagnosed that I'd got some sort of an infection. And that afternoon, I ended up having seen my gastroenterologist at mid-afternoon, I was with the surgeon. Because they had to move that quickly, because basically I was almost obstructed. And I hadn't realised that if your bowel obstructs, that's it, you have to have a stoma, a permanent colostomy, which is a bag for all your poo to go in, etc. And so they decided they had to move really, really quick. So I saw him on the afternoon, that was on the Friday afternoon, it was a bank holiday weekend, and he said, I've already booked you in for your operation on Wednesday. And the general thing is sometimes you can be a couple of months between diagnosis and surgery, certainly weeks. It meant that I had to deal with everything really quickly and handle it really, really quickly. And in a lot of ways that was probably good, because it forced me into facing it rather than hiding from it. If I'd pushed him, he would have had to say, you've only got a 40% chance of making it through the year. And that would have made my approach to treatment very different.
Completely different. Yeah.
So whereas I approached my chemo from a very positive point of view, and my results from chemo were excellent. The aim had been, there were fast-growing tumours in my lungs. I had 3 in my liver, I had 8 across both lungs. And the ones in my lungs were all 2 to 3 centimetres in size. So if you imagine putting those together into a mass, it's quite a lot of lung capacity had gone, although I couldn't feel it. And the aim of chemo had been to reduce the size of the lung tumours by 30 to 50%. At the end of that 6 months chemo, my liver was clear, my left lung was clear, and I only had 3 dots left on my right lung, which is incredible. And my nurses said that 50% of those results came from the chemo, and 50% came from attitude, positivity. And I truly believe that, and I see that around a lot with people I see going through it. But coming back to the question of what's my current prognosis, so I asked my oncologist about 2-3 months ago now when I last saw him, and he reckons 1 to 2 years. However, 18 months ago when we last had the conversation, he said 1 to 2 years. So I'm doing a nice job of shifting that along. So my approach is, I've been told I've got 1 to 2 years. I'm aiming at 5, but I'm budgeting for 20.
Good.
But I'm not hiding from it. It's an important part of what's going on. So I enjoy my life. I enjoy my days every day, even if it's sitting lounging around on my sofa with Pippa. I enjoy it. It's a conscious thing that I'm doing. I'm doing a great bucket list, doing lots of activities and filling my time with that. But I'm enjoying an active life. One of the phrases that I put down recently for the website was a diagnosis of cancer doesn't have to mean the end of your life. It can be the reason to start living it. And for me, that really resonates as true. And I would say that's my approach to handling a very, very bleak prognosis. Is, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself during the time I've got, but I'm aiming for a lot longer than he's giving me.